Welcome to Evolve WMMA podcast, featuring women who go against conventional thinking to pursue their dreams. They are warriors who've gained respect by taking the reins and moving forward, creating progressive change in a male-dominated arena. These women have inspiring stories to tell, filled with real-life joy, passion, blood, sweat, and tears. Hey, this is Evolve Women's MMA, and I'm your host, Shelly Devine. So this week's guest is a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu who just recently competed at the Grappling Industries tournament in St. John's Prep here in Danvers, Massachusetts. And she did really well against some really tough competition. She's also studying for her PhD and teaches a women's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class at Connors MMA in Norwood, Mass. I'd like to welcome Maria Kipreos. So welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. I'm so excited to have you on the show. You did such a great job at the tournament this past weekend. How were your forearms?
Oh, they're fine now. But I have a gnarly black eye, which is good. And I think something happened to my toe, but I'm not sure. But
do you think one of the girls was getting a toe hold or something? Or
they definitely got a toe hold, but I didn't feel any strain then. So who knows? I went out that night anyways and wore heels, and I don't wear heels. So, maybe it was that. I'm not sure.
That's right. You went out and watched some belly dancing or something.
Yeah.
Was it a bridal shower or something that you went to?
An uncle and aunt were celebrating like a 38th wedding anniversary, I believe, or something along those lines. So it was cool. It was really neat.
So did they have the belly dancers? And then you mentioned something about like swords and blades and.
Well, she balanced a sword, this curved huge sword on her head as she belly danced, and it was pretty cool.
Wow.
I mean it's sharp all the way around, so it was impressive. She could shake her body it was great. I've never seen a belly dancer like that, a professional belly dancer. It was great.
Oh, that's so neat. So and she balancing a sharp sword on her head.
Yeah.
Wow. That's interesting. I can't really visualize that. I'll have to check out. Do you have it on your Facebook page?
Yeah, I should. I have a video saved somewhere. So.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. So your tournament, you came in second overall in no-gi, or what was it?
Yeah, gi and no-gi. Mm-hmm.
Knee and oh gosh, wow. And you had some pretty stiff competition. One of your competitors was an MMA fighter with Invicta. And it was Terry Kennison, who does really, I think it was her first time for her purple belt competing. This was the first time in the purple belt division. And did you do quite well against her?
Well, that's funny because I also, this is my first purple belt competition because I just got my purple belt, I don't know, sometime in the spring. And
congratulations.
So I was nervous, but I had no idea she was an MMA fighter until you told me.
Yeah.
And I just kept her in my guard because I saw her passing game is awesome. She was really crushing this one girl. From when I would ever take a glance at her fighting and stuff, and grappling. So I was like, I told my coach, one of my coaches, Marcelo, he cornered me there and was coaching me along. And I was like, yeah, her passing game is great. He goes, well, you gotta make sure she doesn't pass you, and you gotta just keep on attacking. And I was like, yeah, I'll try. My attitude is very chill. I try to be like, this is a great experience for me. I'm really thankful to be able to do jiu-jitsu. I mean, I'm physically capable of doing it, and it's great.
Mm-hmm.
So I took her down. I did a cross collar drag. I took her down, went into my guard though right away. I wasn't able to get up. I think she was they did an absolute gi division for us purple belt girls. So we had a girl that was 120, 120 pounds. A couple of us were 130, and I think she was the 150 pounder. Although I know she fights at 135.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know she weighed that much. She doesn't look like she does, right?
Yeah, she doesn't. I feel like we were the same size, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow.
Yeah, but maybe I'm getting her confused with someone else on the bracket. Not sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I took her down, kept her in my guard, and I just kept attacking from my guard. That's all I knew what to do. And then at one point we were I don't know what happened. I tried to invert on her, and then she got my arm, but my elbow wasn't far extended, so I was able to dig on the back of her thigh and make sure she didn't armbar me and stuff.
Oh, wow.
And then I hear Marcelo say 20 seconds. I was like, I'm just going to hold her here for 20 seconds until this match is over. And, that's not the attitude to have. Like, I should have fought more and got up,
Right.
that type of thing. But at that point, I was just like, okay, I didn't know what the point score was, but all I knew was I kept her in my guard and I tried choking her. Cross collar choke.
Yeah.
I tried throwing the lapel over her. But then I was like, it was a great experience. That was a good fight.
Yeah. It's good to get somebody who's does this regularly. And most of the women that showed up for that tournament, I think you even actually in one of your last matches went against an amateur MMA fighter too.
Oh, really?
Or I know she's a kickboxer. I've seen her kickbox. I don't know if she's actually stepped into the cage or anything like that. But I mean, when you're going against these women, do you think about that at all? Because you're not a cage fighter. You are strictly Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You don't do any stand-up fighting, do you?
No. I like to dabble and just learn the techniques and but yeah, I knew that she was a cage fighter. Katuna, I'm not pronouncing her name right. Parker is her last name.
Is it
Katuana maybe?
Katuana, something like that. Yeah.
I was like, okay. Yeah. And I was just like, all right, I'll try my best. I was figuring like she's probably gonna take me down in me MMA fighting, but I eventually took her down once John coached me to make sure I put my hand around her hip so I can actually finish my takedown. So I got points there, and I tried fighting for at one point she turtled over and I tried fighting for a rear naked choke, but she was defending really well. She was also really exhausted because she had just finished her gi division literally minutes before.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the fight she asked me, she's like, do you fight MMA? And I'm like, no. But
did she say you probably should?
I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, I guess I gave her enough competition or, enough of that, that to make her feel as if I could possibly be in the cage with her or something along those lines. So.
Well, what I have to say is I have to applaud you because oftentimes MMA fighters think that they can just kind of bounce around and dabble a little of this, dabble a little of that, and really what you should be doing is consistently training like how you do in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, earn your ranking and move up, the totem pole for belts and stuff like that, but really put in the consistent work and do these tournaments. And I'm surprised we don't see more say women who are looking to fight either amateur or professionally in the cage or either some other competition that they don't do it more. So I was really thrilled to see actually Kerry there, and then I was thrilled to see that you gave her a good run for her money.
Yeah, I was like, I honestly thought, I was like, this girl's just gonna pass me and she's gonna have a fun time. But I stuck to not thinking about anything except for I chose to be here. I chose to do this competition and I'm going to make the best of it. And for me, like win or lose, I'm going to try to kick ass how I know how to kick ass. Like I'm going to try, because you do get that adrenaline dump. Sometimes fighting like how you fight at the gym and you're training while you're training, sometimes it doesn't easily translate into competition mode. And because of the different nervous system happenings that are occurring at that time.
Yeah, some people do, it can go either way, but some people will do really good in the gym. And then when they compete, forget it. And then others will do really crappy in the gym. And when they compete, they're like, what the hell just, they're terrors. So you have to deal with that. Probably I think the first time you go in to compete, you have a lot of cortisol and kind of builds up, and then you have that adrenaline kind of thing. I know just in the kickboxing side of it, my first time, I had such an adrenaline kind of dump and charge, and I was like completely exhausted just after one, 2 minute or two. 3 2-minute rounds or whatever. And it's such a weird sensation and feeling. I was talking about it in another podcast with a girl who does Muay Thai kickboxing, and it's such a weird sensation. Like, I mean, even like everything slows down. I mean, like your perception changes, but then once you get used to that and you get kind of comfortable, you get comfortable with your breathing and all that, you're completely fine. But it does take, you have to do the first one. And then after that, was your first match, did you experience any of that?
So the funny thing is, my first match, I had gone against her when I first got a blue belt. Her name's Allison Jones. And I knew she had been a blue belt for a while, I or at least a year more than I had. So she had different experience. And so I was like, all right, she's my first fight as a purple belt. I just got my purple belt. Here we go again, history repeating itself. And so at first I was just like, I'm going to have fun with it. Like, I'm excited to see her and compete against her, because she and I talked about like me going up to Vermont, because they do this open air jiu-jitsu. So I think it's called like open air project or something like that. They take mats outside in like a beautiful scenic place. And she's a part of that group of people that do that. And so I was like, I've been meaning to try to get up there and just roll with those people. But I didn't make it. So I was like, oh, this is great. Like, I'm going to compete against her. And then maybe we could cross paths again in Vermont sometime. But yeah, so my first match, like, I definitely felt the stress, but like I said, I just honed in, and my mantra was, I'm in control, sidebar, because I chose to do this. So I'm in control, and then hallelujah, right? Because I'm just super thankful. Yeah, like I'm here, like I'm alive, I can breathe, I get to do this, and I love jiu-jitsu. And yeah, I was just like, this is it. And I think I did pretty well against her. Like, my aggression stayed pretty good, positive aggression, not anger, like the aggression you need for competition. And I felt pretty good. I got to her side control. I kept her there for a little while. I tried getting the on belly, but it sucks because the last minute, I feel like I got lazy. I'm just like, oh, I'm so tired. Like, I like pulled her lapel like into like a worm guard type thing, and then I was struggling for a single leg, like just a takedown, and I finally did somehow. I don't know if it was a takedown per se, but I did take her down. But then we were out of bounds, so he started us again. I got into her.
I saw that. I was like, oh, you kind of were in a good position there, and then it was like, okay,
I didn't get any points for that, but like, I was like, I did it. Like, I was like, I was not going to give up. Like, I didn't give up that lapel hold that I had. She was stuffing my neck. Like, she was stuffing my head in between, like literally in between my legs. I was like, no. And I just tackled her down. I was like, I am here, and I have this, and you can't go anywhere, because I feel like you can't go anywhere. You can shove my head all you want. And maybe I should have had a flatter back, but, maybe I should have.
Yeah, she was tough. I mean, like, watching her, like, she really had some, I mean, super, like, just could keep going and going. Like, she was like a little Energizer bunny, and she's a tall woman for starters. And she looked, I don't know how old she was, but she was definitely, I mean, older.
I think she's like in her mid-30s, perhaps. Yeah.
And I was like, wow, she's got some stamina, man. Like, when I was watching her roll with some other women, I was like, holy crap. She kept the pace going. I was actually really surprised for a woman her height and everything to be able to have that in such, you guys get all cramped up and, all these weird.
You're just like holding on too.
Yeah. I was amazed. I was really amazed at
awesome.
Yeah, all of that. It was really, really cool to see. All of you yourself in rolling all the whole thing. I was like, wow.
Like, I just can't wait to get back into the gym and just improve, like just minor conceptual things, like keeping my elbows closer or posturing up or changing a level more. Like, you think you're changing a level in competition. It's like, you didn't go anywhere. I didn't go anywhere. Like, I just literally stayed the same height. But yeah, it was good.
how did you get all started in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? I mean, what motivated you to start a class and get involved in it? I mean, obviously you've been doing it for several years to earn your purple belt. So what got you started? What was
So it was funny because I did Taekwondo as a kid and I wanted to continue. So like I got to college and I let it go, but I would practice in my room, you know, I'm like, I don't know, I guess I don't need to go to the gym. And so I was always, you know, I love punching and kicking, but I just couldn't do the katas. Like, you know, I've forgotten some of the katas. I was like, one of my white belt katas, like I remember them, but I was like, I want to just get back into kickboxing. Like, you know, punching, kicking, moving, footwork, just technique and just build that up because I was super flexible when I was doing Taekwondo. And I was just like, there goes that flexibility, you know, that I earned. But so I scoped out Connor's MMA because it's literally 10 minutes away from my house. And so I finally just walked in 2013 and I started doing the Muay Thai classes there. And then I befriended Amanda at the gym.
Yeah, I know.
And she's like, girl, you got to try jujitsu. You got to try jujitsu. And then Marcelo, who's the afternoon coach, you know, he's like, yeah, try it out. And he's really good at like getting people in and making them feel comfortable. And so he and Amanda would show me a couple moves. I was like, all right, I'll try this out. Like, let me know. I had no idea what jujitsu was.
She didn't scare you off?
No, she was awesome. Super welcoming. Yeah, she was scary. But I was like, oh man, she's a terror. Like, yeah, like, I'm like, cool. But in my mind, you know, I walked in because I was like, I want to find courage and I want to like connect with myself in a physical sense, you know? And I, you know, whatever, like, yeah, I was like, yeah, she's a terror, but I did Taekwondo growing up. So of course I can try this out. Like, she's not going to scare me, but she is scary. Like, let's get real.
She was funny. I had a few kickboxing things with her and I think maybe I scared her, but she scared me too. So
she's relentless.
She comes at you kind of hard. And I think in the beginning she didn't realize, like, I mean, the guys, when you go with the guys will kind of like take, you know, you going at them maybe 80%, you know, instead of
just like flick you in here.
Yeah. And I think she just thought that, oh, this is the normal way to go. But then I came back at her at the same kind of speed and level that she came back at me. And and she just looked like, whoa, because I don't think any of the guys maybe did that in the beginning. This was early on when she first started. And it just struck me as funny. I was like, oh man, she better be careful because somebody's just going to knock her head off by accident.
Well, she told me she had gone to one Muay Thai. She had gone and done Muay Thai somewhere.
Yeah,
and
it was that
blasted her in the nose.
Yeah, it was that Sit Your Tongue. And the guy that she got paired with, I was like the instructor that paired her with you know, like him with her. I was like, his name's Benny, I think. And I was like, oh my God, I go with him. And I'm always like, will you knock it off? Because I have to like hit you hard to stop you from doing stuff. And I happen to be a little bit more advanced than him. So he was like not a good person to pair her with.
Yeah.
Not for starting out. It was like a dangerous combination. It was toxic for sure.
Funny.
And that's not the norm there. That's the thing. It wouldn't have been the norm. Like if I had been there, that wouldn't have happened or whatever. I was like, when I heard about it, I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? No. And I was like, who was she with? And they're like, Benny.
Oh God.
Freaking figures.
But I love her attitude. She won't stop. She's committed.
Yeah.
Like, and she's a great role model. Like, was a great role model for me too in the gym. Like, I was like, oh, Amanda's going to be there. Like, I would text her and be like,
that's good.
You know, you find your person. And I see like the women in my class, they found their person. And so they text each other because it is awkward. Like you're walking into, you know, an MMA gym, you're walking in, there's a bunch of dudes like, you know, and you're like, now I'm sometimes the only girl like on a Wednesday night or something like that. And I'm just like, okay, like I could see how this is intimidating for a woman.
For sure.
Definitely. Yeah. And so I think it was great that, you know, John came up to me. I think, you know, Carlos talked to John. There was some communication and conversations about starting a women's jiu-jitsu thing. And I would always, like, me and Amanda would try to do like women's only open mat type of thing. And so we got some girls from Straight Blast Gym, I think that's what it's called, the Gorilla.
Yes. Yep.
SBG.
Yep.
Yeah. So they came and it was a great time. And so, I finally just got it rolling this past February. We're like, let's start a women's jiu-jitsu. And I'm like, he's like, what do you think about you coaching it? And I'm like, oh, I can do that? Yeah, cool. Like, yeah, I'll try. I'll see what I can do. And, teaching beginners is hard. It's not easy.
But don't you feel like you're learning as you teach?
Oh my God. Yeah. I think my pace of learning, it's gone up like exponentially. Like I'm learning more. Things are sticking better because I need to translate this information to these women and I need to do it properly. And because I don't want them to get hurt, and I'm a stickler for technique too. I don't know if it's like this perfectionism I have in my mind, and also maybe from doing Taekwondo, and like when you do a kata, like if you throw up that block, you got to throw it up right. If you throw that kick, you got to throw it right. So I still have that in me, so
that's cool.
Yeah,
so you have the right when you're teaching. I mean, what was one of your biggest hurdles for when you first started, like, getting your point across, teaching some sort of to women? Because I know it's different teaching to women than it is possibly teaching to men.
Especially grappling, because I feel like men as boys grapple for fun.
Yeah.
Like my brother did that. Like they were outside grappling for fun. And I'm like, I have no idea what you guys are doing. This looks ridiculous. But that's 8-year-old me. I think one of the biggest hurdles is women are really hard on themselves. I'm definitely going to say that. And so I see that sometimes women can get frustrated easily, but I also am a woman coach. So they're comfortable. And so I'm really thankful that they share that frustration, because it improves my teaching, and improves the way that I explain something. And so at one point too, like I also had to realize I can't just have them grapple. Like, hey, okay, so last 15 minutes class, let's just get after it. Like, so I came up with, all right, in my head, I would follow a sequence. Like, okay, so they're in closed guard. They're going to flower sweep into mount. Then that other person's going to have to mount escape. So like try to give them sort of an initiation to grappling by doing sort of these movements that correspond with one another. So they got that idea. But now I think they're doing great. They're really ready. Some women are going to do a competition. I mean, they've only been in jiu-jitsu for say 6 months, what I mean? Wow. So they're ready. So I'm excited,
That's really cool. So will you go and coach them?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. I got to figure out how to coach them during that time, because when I get coached, I like very calm energy. Like, okay, get up, like try for this. All right, don't forget that arm. Just like how John coaches, like that responds well. Like I respond well to that. Yeah.
The things that you they see, or even to kind of encourage you. Yeah. While you're like, I can't breathe because they're lying on top of me and I can't see what's going on. It's just to remember things, I suppose. When you're dealing with that kind of aggression or non-aggression, has it ever turned on where you've gotten a little kind of like, a little angry while you're in the middle of a match?
While I'm in the middle. So it's so funny because I'm like, I just turn into like apathetic about it. Kind of, like I realize I do that. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, this is happening. Yes, I need to get out of her side control. She's got a solid side control. I know I have 30 seconds left in this match. I got to get out, but I'm tired. So I need to change that attitude. And I have been little by little. So if someone gets super angry, like it depends on the anger of aggression. Like I realize that if you're going to get angry, you're going to open yourself up to get either submitted, swept, you're going to open yourself up so that I can get an advantageous position on you.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So please get angry. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
but I think at the purple belt level, these women are so calm because they've been competing, and it's just like a different energy.
Mm-hmm.
And, or maybe that's just the energy that I brought to the table. Like,
mm-hmm.
I'm not sure, because with Allison, I looked at her and I'm like, girl, you are strong. Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh my God, I was going to tell you you're strong and scary. And I was just like, so we felt the same about each other. And so in my mind, when I go to compete, I'm like, we both feel the same way.
Yeah.
And we both probably only train with men. So kind of getting a feel for a woman's body, a woman's flexibility, a woman's strength during a time of like competition, because mm-hmm. you know, it feels different. Like,
feels different than even in class. Like if you're training even with other women, do you get a chance to train with other women in class? Or?
Yeah, I do. Like Amanda, I train with Amanda. But like training with someone your size, your technical background, sometimes you can't find that very easily at any gym, I feel like, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know? Yeah. So I feel like women's only seminars are a great thing to try. Competitions are an awesome thing to try, especially if you don't get to train with women. So that's one of the reasons too that I'm like, I'm going to get out there. I'm going to see how I feel against a woman, because I know these guys are taking it a little bit easier on me, you know?
Yeah. So. Yeah, I could hear that. I could see that. So have you had like any aha moments either while you were learning Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or in your competitions, or any kind of thing that really stands out as like, wow, I just went from here and just learned that, or, you know, something, just an aha
I feel like moment. As I progressed at each belt, mm-hmm. like from white to blue, there was so many aha moments. And from blue, from one stripe to another stripe to another stripe, just each aha moment would appear naturally, because I'm so, I guess, committed to the sport. Like, I want to learn, and I study it too. So I watch videos or watch tutorials about something, and I try my best to get that information. Or I speak about jiu-jitsu to jiu-jitsu people. I hang out with a bunch of jiu-jitsu people, so we're always talking about something. And I try to focus on the basic concepts, because that's what's going to stick when you compete. Like, I need to get her waist away from me, because she's about to settle into side control. So I need to move. I need to get on my shoulder. I need to hover over. My feet can't be touching the ground right now. They need to be swinging. I need to be working on my shoulders rather than on, you know. Yeah. So just basic concepts that are a part of those movements and techniques that we do. That's what I try to focus on.
Cool. When you, how long have you been training? Like, I mean, to get your blue belt, how long did it take to get that?
So I officially started probably like December 2013. And then I got my blue belt. That's a good question. 2015, I believe, sometime.
And then just for, you know, like people that are listening that might be curious about like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and going in and training, especially women, and they're like, what's the, you know, how does it work? So you got stripes. How many stripes before you got your blue belt? So 4 stripes. So each belt has 4 stripes, and then you progress. And each stripe is awarded to you. It depends on your gym. And I like how John does it at Connor's MMA. Like, you know, he awards you the stripe when he sees you progress. So like he takes notice, or he'll roll with you one month, and then 6 months later he'll roll with you again, and then he sees how you've progressed. And then I'm sure he talks to like the brown belts, the purple belts, the coaches there, to see how people are progressing for stripes and whatnot. So yeah, and in your observation, is it partly too some confidence levels too? Because I mean, when you know, like, and how you feel about like certain techniques and being in guard or being in mount or being in side control, or and then like, you know, and then how to position yourself, and then moving up into all the more, you know.
Yeah, and your attitude about that, your attitude towards other people, because it is a martial art, and so you got to pay respect to the training partners, to the gym, to the space, and the time. So definitely the time.
So in the ranking goes like from white belt to blue belt to purple belt, and then what is
Mhm.
it, brown and then black?
Yes, for adults who
For
start in
adults.
jiu-jitsu. Yeah. White, blue, purple, brown, black. Yeah.
Yeah, that's, it's really interesting because it's like, it's only really like what, four belts.
Mhm.
And I mean, starting with white, and then you're like, it's a lot of years of training, where in other martial arts, there's all these, belts.
Yeah. There's
And
these steps that you got to do, and
yeah, yeah. And so are you tested from belt to belt, like by the group or the community of the, like guys are gonna like, because I know when I tested for anything for a belt, it was like I had to go through the whole school basically with all
yeah.
these different techniques, and I was like, holy crap, here comes another one who just wants to kill me with a freaking machete or something. And
Yeah.
I mean, do they kind of,
Well, I mean,
something like that, or
I feel like we have like a list of things that we should know at each stage. Like, so as a white belt, you should be developing these techniques, and we have this card,
like a
and
syllabus?
yeah, syllabus, and you can get checked off for that syllabus.
Mhm.
And whatnot. And then once you're awarded your belt, either it's a surprise because you just,
Oh.
maybe you competed and you got your belt, or you go through a gauntlet, and you're rolling against everyone blindfolded. Who knows, You're just
Blindfolded. Well, you
rolling with
don't know it's
John.
gonna go. Wow. So is it
Yeah.
a little scary when you're like surprised by that? But do you hear any whispers about it? You're like, you're gonna get your belt by anybody else. I think they were talking about you getting your belt or something. Do they do
Oh
any?
yeah, like your friends might come up to you and be like, "Oh, you're probably gonna get that purple belt soon." It's just like, okay, are you dropping a bomb here or whatever? Like, I'm also very like aloof about that type of stuff because
Yeah.
I'm in the gym to work out and to get to this technique and to understand,
Yeah.
So, and naturally the belt is just gonna come, like the
Was it
advanced.
was it like, oh my God, I'm getting a belt? Like when you're like, holy shit.
When I got my blue belt, I was like, oh, I'm not ready for this. Like, I'm not ready to be a blue belt. Like,
It's a lot of
whatever this means.
responsibility.
Yeah. And then I think John was like, oh, are you happy you got your blue belt? I'm like, yeah, I'm happy, but now I'm a sucky blue belt. Like, you know what I mean? So, and when I got my purple belt, I was super surprised because I think I got my purple belt in like 2.5 years or something like that as a blue belt.
Wow.
So, but I had a lot of aha moments, I guess, in that time frame. So
I can imagine. I mean, that's a lot going on. And then too, being in, with, your training, you said with a lot of guys,
yeah,
mostly at the time, like, so that's a big commitment. And it's like, I mean, it's thrilling.
it's hard and it's also hard to assess yourself when you're just training with guys.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know like they're going easy on me. Like, you know what I mean? I know they have power, they have strength, they have explosivity that's so much different than a woman.
Right.
But we as women have that flexibility. And I think women actually understand or get a hold of techniques a lot quicker than men.
I've heard that before. A lot of women have said that on the show. Actually, they keep saying that, and women that teach actually and have been in the game for the fight game, say, or combative sports for a very long time, they say the same thing. That women tend to get it a little bit more, where guys, they just want to get in there and pound each other or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
there's like maybe a more emotional side that's visible when a woman is going through training. But I tell women like martial arts is an emotional thing, and you should be fighting from an emotional point, that emotional place. I mean, I listened to this Joe Rogan podcast. He had this boxer on it. He's the guy that says, way to go, champ. There you go, champ. I forgot what his name is. Shannon Briggs, maybe? I have no idea. But he's like, fighting is emotional and this is emotional. And you take that emotion and you just use it for your good, basically.
Yeah. What kind of emotions? Do they talk about the types of emotions? I mean, because there's scales of emotions. I mean, we did talk a little bit about anger and apathy. But what about like the elation, the joy, the exhilaration?
Yeah.
Or like, when you kind of like, I mean, I know for me, like you get punched in the face and you decide like, oh, that kind of sucks, but I can take it. I can come back and do that again. Or you punch somebody and knock them out. It's like, whoa,
I did it.
Great.
Yeah.
I did it. It's exciting, right?
I guess it's all in your attitude too, though, because I don't know, maybe this is a generalization that I shouldn't be saying, but I feel like men take any emotion and they turn it into something I don't want to say anger, but it could be more aggressive. Like if they're sad, if they're happy, or I'm not sure, you know, I just feel like they don't allow themselves to be as vulnerable sometimes as women. And yes, as women, like people don't know what I'm going through, and I'm only going to show them two emotions, you know, like I'm going to only try to show only happiness. Right.
Yeah.
But still, I feel like men in a physical sense, and if they're fighters, they're probably working that emotion differently than maybe a woman is. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Fears of being humiliated. Because I can remember when I was doing Brazilian Jiu Jitsu at the gym, and I wasn't ranked. There weren't very many women doing it when I did it. And there weren't very many women they were all white belts, and they could have been doing it for a while. They just didn't get ranked as quickly as maybe.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it just didn't happen as much. And then slowly it started, you hear about somebody doing it, and then it would wake up, I think, even other gyms and schools that they would start ranking the women. But anyways, I can remember training and having some of the guys, and if I was better than them and technique wise, then you could feel them starting to use their strength, which I couldn't compete against. I would have gotten seriously injured, say knees or elbows or wrist or something. And so you had to kind of like sacrifice that. And you're like, shit, I'm not learning anything now. I can't like actually test my technique because of the strength I would get hurt, and I wasn't, able to use certain other things too. Like, I mean, if it was really like that life or death kind of situation, they claim Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, if all fights go to the ground, it's like, you want to know this stuff, especially as a woman. You couldn't use it because there was the other things that I would use as a woman that to get a guy who's strong off for me that I would use. And you couldn't do that. But I could feel like, if I beat them somehow or tap them, the humiliation thing, they would be embarrassed. Oh, this old lady over here tapped me.
So like I had one of those experiences as a blue belt going against a white belt. And, I'd hear them kind of like basically in disbelief, be like, I can't believe I can't get one over her. I can't. She's like, they were like, oh my God, like seriously, and I'm just like, I don't know how to take that. I'm just like, listen, come and train more. What do you want? And I've had moments where a man I get over on them on technique. Like I'm doing really well technique wise on them, and we're just rolling. And I try not to be like a really horrible person when I roll. Like I want to learn. This is for me to learn. This is for you to learn. Yeah. So I'm trying to stick a technique, and then all of a sudden they come at me with their strength.
Yeah. And they deny it. You're like, wait a minute. And women will do that too. I've experienced that with women. So I'm not like, really trying to, rank on the guys.
Some women get super competitive.
Like I've had women like do some really weird stuff where, oh, let's go easy. And then the instructor comes around and it's like they turn into Hellcat. And I'm like, oh my God. And we're rolling around on the mat. And I'm like, what the hell happened? And the guys will even look like, what the hell's going on over there? And I'm just like, what is going on? If she starts that crap again, somebody's going to get hurt, and it ain't going to be me. Women
are competitive. I mean, men are competitive, but women are competitive. Like that is the thing,
They don't know it though. They really don't know it. They don't know how to, I mean, in the beginning, they learn. My experience was years ago that they really didn't know how to be competitive. I didn't really even know that, like I had that competitive. I didn't even know I had it. Like not in the way that I do now, but like nowadays I think they grow up with it, and they're able to play young girls are able to play a multitude of sports where like I can remember, you couldn't play hockey, you couldn't play football, you couldn't play soccer.
Oh, wow.
There was all those things, and now there are leagues for women that they are able to play those particular games where they would play them like maybe with friends, but they couldn't play in an organized sport or something like that, which they have that now. They have even boxing. And they have, mixed martial arts now. I mean, women are allowed in that arena now, which is really, really amazing. Have you ever thought about competing in the cage at all? Because I know you guys got a cage at the gym. Do you ever get in it, or do you?
Oh, yeah, I've done like some MMA, like with Jesse, and then one of the coaches at the gym, like I try, like, yeah, I've tried it out, just be like, oh, what is this all about? Like, how can I throw in a punch and a kick and then go for a takedown? Like, how can I put both of these martial arts together in a sense, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's multiple and mixed martial arts, you know?
Yeah,
So
it'll take time. I think, you know, if you really like the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and you really want to get it, you got to like immerse yourself in it. I think there's so much to learn in that particular.
But I really recommend, like, if your gym has MMA classes, to take them, because it's a great, I got more confident with my takedowns from doing MMA classes and just like dabbling in that. Yeah, like, could I get in
like doing a single leg takedown or doing a double leg takedown, all those.
Yeah, fun. Like, it is fun. And, you know, you gain confidence trying it out in a different arena, if you will, you know? Like, I felt like my no-gi game got better from taking some of these MMA classes. I don't know. I like them, definitely.
Do you prefer gi or no gi when you were competing? What do you like?
I don't know. For some strange reason, I don't know. I liked no-gi, but that could have been because I waited a couple hours and like my energy was different. My mental state was different. I felt better. I was more comfortable. But the thing about gi that I love are the grips and being able to pin someone down. With no gi, you're just rolling around trying to like stick your hand somewhere, try to grab them and pull them. Like, with gi, you could just take their material and just, you know, wiggle them around a bit.
It's a good thing to know as a girl. I'm telling you.
And, you know, it's so funny. I actually did a self-defense little thing on the beach because my friend's a strength and conditioning coach. And he's like, I've got a bunch of women. You want to come and show them some things? Ooh. And so I studied some of the, like, Renner Gracie videos with his wife and how you take the T-shirt and then you go for, like, a collar or baseball with just the T-shirt. So I showed them that, and also how to get out of a grip. Nice. They have a great video on that. So, and I got really positive feedback with the self-defense stuff from these women. They were really interested.
A lot of women are. They're afraid, and it's a great gateway to get women into like a school to do it regularly, but they're afraid. I think women are really intimidated by it still to this day. But once they get in it and they discover something in them that it's not nurtured completely, this animalistic kind of raw, maybe even I don't know, it's deep, and to bring it up, it has to be conditioned where it's more conditioned in men, and it has been deconditioned out of women for centuries. I think
because we're forced to be the nurturers, the lovers, the peacemakers in a sense, and it's just like, no, you can be a fighter and you can fight for yourself, and you can stand up and you can say, no, I'm not going to accept this behavior or this thought or this train of thought, and I'm going to speak and I'm going to have a voice whether you like it or not. And so the awesome thing about jiu-jitsu and, you know, or martial arts in general, learning to be like, oh, this is what I love about jiu-jitsu. It's like, I can actually use a technique on a bigger guy and I can get one over on him. You know? You know, it's great. Like, okay, maybe a bigger guy who's a black belt? No. Like, it's not going to happen.
If they know something, maybe not.
Well, like, I had a white belt charge me. He's about 200 pounds. And I did this, I wish I remember the Japanese the name for it. I did it and I had it flying over my head. It's like you step in, you throw in your hook, and then they go over your head. Something gari. So.
An Osada Gari?
Something. I don't know. I forget them. I'm not really good with the Japanese words.
A Tatoshi, like flipping him over your head?
Yeah. Like, I just took his grips like this, and then I just step in as he's charging me.
And you flip him over, and then you roll into the mount.
So,
Taitoshi or something like that. I don't know. I can't remember either. But I remember seeing guys do it, like, and I was like, oh, wow. You don't see it, like, in the cage that often because it's really fancy. It's really fancy, but you might see it in a judo match or something.
Like, there are some things that, self-defense-wise, jiu-jitsu, you probably shouldn't be doing. And likewise for, you know, stand-up. Like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not going to do a spinning back fist to your face because you're probably going to just take me down. You know what I mean? Like in reality on the street.
Actually, I'm surprised I don't see more of that happening when somebody does do a spinning back fist, unless they're doing it because they got spun around. And then that's because that happens to women more often because of the weight differences, where you will get spun around by, like if you're doing stand up and you're sparring with a guy or something. But if you're doing it in MMA against an opponent your size, and I'm always amazed like when guys try to pull this off and they set it up, because it's like, yeah, I know that that's coming. I could see it a mile away.
Change your levels, take your legs down.
And then you're spinning around, and I'm thinking, if the person sees it and times it right, they're going to take you down while your back is turned to you, and nobody, the thing of it is you very rarely see that happening in in a UFC match or a Bellator or any of, you rarely ever see it happening. I'm like, why doesn't somebody train that and it happen if they know that this is their signature move? Take them down when they go for it, because they're not going to have a chance when they turn their back to you. I don't know. I don't know.
Like who knows what the mental state is of these professional fighters when they do get in the cage? Like, they're like training all day long. Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
It's true. So you said you were working with a personal trainer or something like that. I want to backtrack a little bit because I have to ask you before, and I'll forget if I don't, is your abs. Your abs. I'm like,
that's just jiu-jitsu. That's just jiu-jitsu.
Can you just stand up and show us your abs?
No. Because
honestly,
I was also laughing really hard. So laughing yoga can work.
And I'm like, okay, so for other women out there, you want to know how to get a 6-pack abs, and you eat pizza and you drink beer, right?
Yes, I love French fries, pizza, and beer. Yes. And margaritas, all of it.
She's got lines, and she is ripped, people. I'm like, oh my God. I was like, wow.
Jiu-jitsu and some calisthenics. I've been learning how to do, so these pull-ups are easy for women, right? Yeah. But these are hard. Yeah. And I can't do it from a dead hang yet. Yeah, I can't do it from a dead hang, but like if I can get like here and then pull myself up like 3 times, I can do that.
Yeah, can you do the kip ups? The kip ups kind of like,
No, I try not to use momentum or anything like that. Just strict, muscles. That's how I, and I do like occasional conditioning where, I do basic things, squats with a bar, because I like the bar because you're forced to balance the bar. And I do that maybe once a week, squats and deadlifts once a week. That's about it. Like, I don't want to be sore from lifting weights because then I can't do jiu-jitsu. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
No, I hear you. So can you share a personal habit or a daily routine that contributes to your success as an individual, like what you do? Your thing?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I think what it is being committed to something and staying committed to something. And I'm pretty disciplined. Like if I say, yes, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to find ways to do it. And I love this question because I was actually talking to someone about this, and I was just like, no matter what it was, like I threw my gi. I have a gi in my car, no gi stuff in my car. I've got my belt in my car or something like that. And I will drive through 1 hour worth of traffic from Dorchester to Norwood, and that traffic is horrible and miserable. But I'm going to go straight to the gym,
Always be prepared.
Yes. Always be prepared. Always, That's good. Make time for it. Like 5 o'clock, I got to get out of the lab and run to my car and make it to the gym by 6, Yeah. So that's it.
That's awesome. But I mean, you're actually, you're studying for your PhD in what? You just
chemistry. Yeah.
So are you, where do you work now?
Well, right now I'm just writing my dissertation and babysitting dogs.
And babysitting dogs.
Yeah. My friend's like, don't call it babysitting, it's dog sitting, but I can't help it.
So how many dogs do you babysit?
Just one at a time, but soon I'll have like 3, but it's not a big deal. Like just walk them a little bit, feed them, play with them. I wanted a dog, but this is better. It's like almost having like grandkids because I can give them back to their parents.
That's a good idea. Because
Yeah, I'm not responsible for the dog at all.
Yeah.
Besides its health and wellness while it's with me, you know.
Oh, wow. That's actually a good gig. And then you can just send them off and you can work around your schedule and you can make the gym. You can do your thing there. And
yeah.
wow.
And so like, yeah, I really gotta get my feet moving on this dissertation. I'm almost there. And then hopefully, you know, land a job. But even if I land a job, I guess I'm just so committed to jiu-jitsu and learning. You know, I like dabbling with the other martial arts that we offer at the gym. So yeah, cool. I'm just going to keep doing it, you know?
That's awesome.
I'm not going to make excuses, or at least I'll try not to.
Yeah, no excuses. I mean, like,
I'm all about, like, you need to give your body rest too. Like, you need to feed your body well. I'm not strict in any sense of the imagination. Like, I'm a person, you do things in moderation. So, yeah, you got to listen to yourself.
For sure. Absolutely. I tell that to my clients all the time. It's like they'll have days when they're apologizing because they felt like they didn't lift well or something. And I'm like, yeah, but your back is bothering you and you were out doing construction all day the day before. Like you had a long 12-hour day. I'm like,
we need to be easy on ourselves.
Yeah. I'm like,
but not too easy.
Yeah. So I'm like, come on, you know, cut yourself some slack and, you know, whatever stresses come into your life.
Yes.
You know, emotional stresses, family life, and what goes on with that, things that are out of, you know, not normal things, you know, happening and that take you off your routine, and it adds more stress to your day. It shows up in your body. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, we need to find time to and get rid of the stigma with mental health and all. Like, health is a total package. It's physical, it's mental, it's emotional, it's all of that. And so we need to take care of all of that. And I'm a huge advocate for all of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it makes you better in all arenas when you do take care of yourself.
Absolutely. I'm an advocate for that too. Holistic health.
Yeah.
The whole picture, every part of it. So who's played a meaningful role in your life's journey and influenced you in a positive way?
That's a great question. Without a doubt, it's my parents, my mom and my dad. Mm-hmm. They show me what hard work is because my dad pulls on like 18-hour days. I mean, they own a restaurant and they operate it themselves. And my mom and my parents are grandparents too. So they want to enjoy, you know, the two kiddos. So my mom in the morning is with, you know, her grandchildren and she's tending to them. And at the afternoon time hits around and it's their nap time. They go with their parents and then, you know, my mom rushes over to the restaurant to do her thing, you know? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. And they want us to live a good life. Mm-hmm. And so I take every opportunity to seize the day, really, you know, because they're out there, they're supporting me. And I want to show my appreciation by doing the things that are going to create such a positive impact in my life. And in the end, like, hopefully I pay it back to them in whatever way I can. So.
Well, that's beautiful. That's a nice tribute to your folks too.
Yeah.
I'm sure if they listen to this, they'll be like, oh, I'm so proud of her.
I mean, my dad gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. My dad gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning and he's out the door and he's always being physical. He's always doing something physical. And he doesn't let, you know, bad things get to him. So both my parents have such an optimistic viewpoint. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, they're hard. They were hard parents. Don't get me wrong.
I was just going to ask, how do they toughen you up as like
just like my dad's attitude, you know, like I think it's, you know, some of it's like nature and nurture type of thing. Mm-hmm. So funny. Like my dad would be like, he's really proud that I do jiu-jitsu and whatever. And he'll hear the news through my mom or through Facebook or something like that. And, he's like, you know, you don't go there to lose. You have like that little voice in your head. You're like, okay,
the back of your head. That's cool.
You know, you don't go there to lose. And I'm like, okay, second place, that's great. I feel like a winner. I'm happy, but I'm a loser.
Oh no, you did great. Oh my gosh. They must have been very proud of you seeing the pictures and stuff. I mean, there's like.
Oh, I haven't shared it with them yet. I will though.
Okay.
Definitely will.
Cool. Can you share a story of a time in your journey where you experienced failure and what you learned from it? And you know, yeah, and what did you do? Like, what did you do to kind of like, you know, flip that failure over?
Right. Wow, that's a deep question because
Mm.
you know, I tell people not to negative self-talk because I do that. Like, I've been known to do that. And so I'm through like being more cognitive, like cognition. I don't know, whatever. Like
yeah.
I know not to do that. Like, so I'm redirecting my thought patterns. But I got into a relationship with someone a long time ago, and it was emotionally and mentally abusive relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in it for way too long.
Mm-hmm.
And I was young. I was a sheltered 20-something-year-old.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, I thought every relationship had to lead to marriage. And I'm like, oh, look here's a failure. And like, look what I haven't done in my life. Like, I haven't gone to grad school yet or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And, or I got a C+ in this class because I was in this relationship. It was, you know, like, to me, that was a failure because I needed to be almost perfect at everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I got out of it because I was just like, no, this is unacceptable. And I finally just was like, this was my goal. I'm going after that goal.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to come back to my goals and never lose sight of that path. Like, here's the goal, here's the straight path to that goal, but here's your path that you take. But hopefully you just still end up at that goal, whatever that is, you know? And just make sure your paths, even if they diverge from the straight line, lead to that goal no matter what. So you have to get yourself out of whatever situation it is, whether it's mentally or a mental situation or a physical situation, and try your best to achieve that goal. And so it's really being mentally strong.
Yeah, I think a lot of people deal with that mental mind muck that, you know, you have absolutely really no control over. You can kind of let it kind of pass through your mind, thoughts, and you get stuck on the negative ones. And why we don't tend to get stuck on the positive ones is really interesting, because we tend to, it's all about choice and which ones to focus on. And oftentimes, depending on what your life experiences are, most oftentimes you end up focusing on that mind muck or that mental self-talk that is negative. And sometimes it's really difficult for people to break out of that if they've had a trauma or something, you know, negative that has happened, because it keeps, that record keeps playing. And then somehow you end up, you know, it sounded like what you did is more of a self-love. It's like, okay, I'm going to love myself and say, hey, you know, I wasn't receiving what I thought I was going to in this situation. And the thoughts that are coming, I know aren't true. And you have a good family background where you have some good support there that you can kind of help yourself recover from that and come out of it and then go after the goals. But you do need that. And you need a support system to be able to do that. And do you find, you know, the culture, say at your gym, like when you're doing Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, you have found that, did that help in some of those goals?
Yes. So like starting Jiu Jitsu, like I always was like, I've always wanted to I never wanted to stop martial arts. You know, I didn't want, because I got into college and that was the reason to stop. So I was like, I did this, I got back into it, and all of a sudden these people are just amazing. And like I connect with them Instagram. I like follow some random people in New York, and I will message them, hey, congrats on your win. I saw that. That's awesome. And they're like, thank you. And I'm like, if you're ever in Boston, come train with us. You know, so the community is open, and it's actually a small community if you really think about it. But there's a lot of people in this small community. I don't know how to describe the feeling. Like, I don't know. You can connect on jiu-jitsu. Like I hang out with jiu-jitsu people, and then sometimes I'll bring a non-jiu-jitsu person into the picture, and they're like, you only talk about jiu-jitsu. And it's just like, yeah, maybe we should start talking about other things, you know? Like we're analyzing a fight, you know, or something along those lines. You're getting together to watch UFC is always a lot of fun. And you find your, as you know, John calls it, a tribe.
Yeah, your tribe.
You really do. And it's up to you, though, to be a part of that tribe and to show up. And the thing is, you got to show up in your life in general. You got to show up for yourself. You got to love yourself and just show up, be a part of it, try your best, you know? And as people a part of that tribe, we can't be cliquey, but you do gravitate towards other people more naturally. And that's just, you know, personality thing probably, or something along those lines. But got to show up. That's all.
That's cool. So what has been your greatest challenge when dealing with fear? And how have you overcome that?
So I definitely, like, competing is not fun. And that's fearful, right? It's just like all of a sudden you have this onset of fear and you just get stuck. And it all comes down to, why am I going to fear this? What is there really to fear? And it's so funny. I was talking to Marcelo about it, and it's just like, you don't care about the other people that are there, but you care about the people that are showing up for you to support you. And they're like, they think you can kick ass. And then all of a sudden you're not kicking someone's ass. So you're going to feel like really crappy about that. And it's just like, well, they thought I was a badass, but I didn't look like a badass on the mat. You know what I mean? But it's all about your attitude and your perspective. Like, I fear a lot of things, sure. But you can't negative self-talk. You just got to get yourself through it.
Right. Do you think it's important having resilience and courage in the fight game? Like, you know, when you're competing?
Yeah, definitely. I learned that, I think, this past weekend, because resilience, especially, it's like, you got to go out there. You got to keep trying no matter what happens to you. You got to be, I don't know. You got to just keep going, because it's such a short period of time, and you're doing this for yourself mostly. So and you already are courageous for stepping up and doing it. Yeah. And so in a sense, you win at life for that second, right?
Yeah.
Because you're doing it.
Yeah.
You're showing up.
Risk. You showed up. Yeah.
Exactly. And competing isn't for anyone. You took a risk stepping into that gym that day. And you're taking a risk every day, just committing yourself to something, because there's a lot of things, like, people have kids, they have families, their jobs. There are setbacks in life. But if you just keep showing up and you stay committed to something that you truly enjoy, you've got to truly enjoy it, then you're winning, you know?
I remember some time ago, I was working with a guy that trains. He does a lot of gymnastics and stuff, and he puts groups together, and they do like all this crazy kind of cool stuff. And he goes, life. He goes, it's like, you got to jump in. You got to jump into it. You got to, or like into the deep end of a pool, and you don't know how to swim. Sometimes you just have to jump in to experience things and to scare yourself a little bit, maybe every day, to really feel alive and to live your life. And oftentimes we get stuck saying, oh, I'm going to put this off and I'll do it later. I'll get to it. Because I know, like, right now, even I'm doing a lot of things in my life, but I'm also like, oh, I haven't been in the gym in a while, like for myself, like, meaning the gym, gone back to Sit Your Tongue to do like some kickboxing. It's been since December. I just have not been able to get myself to go at the times that I used to go to. And I keep saying, I got to get back. And I haven't. And I'm like, shit, I really got to do that. You know, like, I got to get back in the gym and start training again and doing the thing. Cause it's just, it's something I love doing. And I'm like, why am I not doing it right now? Oh, because I'm an hour away and I'm driving already back and forth into Boston. It's like, you know, the excuses get in the way, and you got to kind of like say, all right, no more excuses. Just get off your ass and do it.
Even if it's just like once a week or once every other week, because that's for everybody, you know? People are like, well, I just can't make, you know, I've heard conversations where it's just like, it just doesn't make sense to do it that often or not to be that committed, because we see other people, like one of our, you know, members, PJ, like, he does jujitsu every day, twice a day, you know, or Will Alfano, you know, like, no matter what, they're in there. And yeah, maybe you're not going to be like that, but coming in once, twice, you're going to get better.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, do you see yourself as a role model for young girls and for other women coming up in the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu game?
You know what? With doing the teaching and class instruction for women and young girls, because I have Melina there. She's the daughter of Pedro, one of our coaches, one of our black belts at Connors. Mm-hmm. So I feel honored to be teaching his daughter, because that's pretty cool for a black belt to be like, yeah, go to Maria's class. You know what I mean? And then Leo and his wife and daughter have joined the group, the women's group. So that's really cool. I just want to motivate them, especially like seeing they're 12 years old. Hopefully they're 12 years old. I think they are. Yeah. I just want to motivate them to be like, I'm a strong, independent young woman. I'm coming in there. I'm going to, I don't know. I can kick ass basically at everything in life, Yeah, so I just want to be a motivator.
PhD, you just competed in a purple belt competition. You did great in that. And you are.
Yeah, I just want to, and I also want to motivate the moms, because it's just like, yeah, it's hard to get out here. Yeah, it's hard to have a mommy tummy. You just gave birth to like a wonderful human being. Yeah, might have been 4 years ago, but it's still tough, Yeah. And you're out here and you're doing it. Yeah, like your kid is probably driving you crazy right now, but I don't know. I love it. I want women to love themselves, because I want to love myself, and continuously love myself. And I'm just getting into the self-love, like. Turning 30, I was just like, okay, like, all right, what's new? What's going to happen at 30 years old? Because 16-year-old me thought I was going to be married and had children by now, or something along those lines. I didn't know I was going to do my PhD.
So you're available? You're a single girl and you're available? No attachments?
Who knows? Yeah.
Well, guys, just putting it out there. We got a hot little number here. I'm really bad.
I'll choose. Like, I'll pick my suitors. Put them up on a line, Shelly, and I'll spit questions at them and see.
Hey, I'm single too, so I'm looking too.
Can you all take off your shirts? Because if my abs are better than yours, I'll just.
I go through that. I'm
sarcastic. I'm a jokester, like, and I get after it day after day. Like, no one's going to tell me I'm not,
Yeah.
If you don't like the fact I do jiu-jitsu pretty much every day, well then, bye,
Exactly. I have a friend over at Sit Yutong, Rachel Reinheimer, and I've had her on the show before, and how she got into it. She got into doing MMA. Like, she does Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. She does Muay Thai kickboxing, and she's an MMA fighter. And years ago, like, she's like in the dating scene or whatever, and then she did meet somebody, but she's like, hell no, I'm not going to meet a guy that doesn't want to do this.
Yeah,
like, keep me from doing this? There's no way, right?
No way.
And so she did meet a guy, and then he actually does it. He goes and he trains at the gym and everything with her, and it's like, it's so nice. It happens a lot, I think. That people just gravitate to that lifestyle.
Well, discipline is an attractive thing, no matter what you do. Yeah, even if you're a CrossFitter.
Yeah.
That's my face for CrossFitters. It's like,
I know.
Put a bar over your head a million times. Like, that's awesome. Like, you're strong, but that looks scary to me.
Yeah, for sure. So one of the last questions I usually ask all my guests on the show is, were you ever told no or kept from doing something you really wanted to do because you were a woman? Did you ever feel that? And how did you handle it if it did occur?
That's a good question. Like, I've had someone ask me that too, as a scientist and as a woman, like, how do I feel? Because it's such a male dominated field. And then all of a sudden I'm doing jiu-jitsu. It's such a male dominated thing. But my attitude towards all of that is like, I don't know. You got to, like, your little saying in the back says boss lady. You just got to be a boss lady at your own way. And it's just like, no man can tell you no or be disrespectful or belittle you, because you will find that. You will find mansplaining.
Yeah. Yeah.
Men don't think they're doing it, but you're mansplaining.
Yeah.
Or men will look at me and think that I don't know something sciencey, and the way that they explain it, and it's just like, oh, actually I do work with that material, and I do work with that instrumentation, and actually X, Y, and Z according to this literature, and all of a sudden you just shut them down, but you shut them down in a very kind way,
But then they can't, sometimes they don't come back from that. Like they don't, like sometimes they just don't, like I've been nice and then I've been mean. I've been both ways because I've been so like irate. I'm like, I can't even believe you're still saying this shit. And I'm like, I've had it. I'm like, I'm losing my shit. And they just, like I don't know what it is. It's conditioning of some kind culturally, and they don't.
Like I tend to ignore it because I've had like a guy ask a question and didn't accept the answer I gave. And then he had to Google it and find out that my scientific fact was actually correct and based on literature, you know what I mean, that I read. And
do you ever feel
it's like I have to deal with that, and it's really interesting. But I've had other male scientists, professors who are awesome, and they're like, we're all stupid in this field, and that's why we do research to figure this all out. And so they'll come at you, and some of them are like, oh wow, you do jujitsu? Like you can, like basically you can throw me, and then all of a sudden like I'm a scientist and jujitsu practitioner, and I'm like super cool in their eyes, So you have men like that, and then you have men who are intimidated by you or whatever it might be. Or they have a chip on their shoulder. I find that it's just, if anything is like that, it's coming from an insecurity that they have. And it has nothing to do with you. It's like, thanks for being egotistical.
That's very wise of you, Maria. That's so wise, like to get that now at your age. you know,
but
to get it now.
It's so hard. Like you can't be friends with them sometimes, it's hard.
Yeah, it's challenging. And I'm sure, on the other side of it, men and women have challenges. We all have challenges between the sexes and stuff. But we just
have to acknowledge ourselves, take accountability for ourselves, because it is hard to do that. It really is.
Absolutely. To own your own shit. Own your own shit.
I'm not quick to apologizing. I am stubborn. I'll fight you tooth and nail. Like,
I think most people are like that. They got the pride issue that they got to deal with.
Yeah, we all do.
It's the pride, and it's like
women easily shame themselves, and that I'm against that. We're not going to say sorry for no reason. Like no. Yeah. Like no.
Yeah. No. Well, that was a great answer. Thank you. I like it. That was a really good one. Would you like to give a shout out to anybody, or maybe leave the podcast with maybe your class schedule? So maybe for some women that they've just heard the podcast, they're in the Norwood area, and they're maybe thinking about, or they've thought about, and now they're less intimidated, and they may say, hey, you know what? I really like that Maria chick. I think I'm going to go check out her class.
Yeah. So we have a women's schedule. So Monday nights at 8 p.m., Tuesday mornings at 10 a.m., and Thursdays 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. But yeah, by all means, please walk in the door. Like I would love to have more women joining our gym at Connors. Just if you train, you haven't trained, it doesn't matter. Just walk in those doors and you'll find this little tribe of women that we've got going on over there. And I think it's going to be great. And I'm excited to get more women, young women, older women. I don't care. Like, just let's get in there and get after it. That's what, I'd like. So
well, one of the good things too, I want to say, I know, like, if you're looking for, to make a connection and you're lonely or something like that, martial arts is a great way to connect with people. You'll find yourself out doing, other things with that. You develop a sense of community. You'll make friends. Because I know, like, I've said this in other podcasts, speaking to other people, it's like you just develop like this connection, and it's a family, like Sityatong is, you know, you join in the family there, you know, it's like with the
Like
familia, you know, like, and
and
and so you kind of have that, and I would think that it's the same over at Connor's MMA, especially where they're trying to create the tribe aspect. You know, they have that going on there. So that's
definitely
really cool.
so,
That's really cool.
that's great.
So I want to thank you for so much for being on the show, for coming on and sharing your life, a little bit about you and what it's like to be a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner, because I think it's really kind of a cool thing for a woman to do, and it's not too often. I mean, there's a lot more purple belts, women coming up and becoming purple belts and sticking with it. Getting your black belt will be a really amazing thing. You're only, you know, you're not that far away now. You've kind of, most people go to their blue belt and then they kind of stop, and now you're on that path, and
There's no stopping.
Yeah, so that's great. I'm glad to hear it. I'm so thrilled to hear that, and I want to thank you again, Maria. And I look
Thank you for
forward
having
to
me on.
seeing.
Thanks for this
You're
conversation.
welcome.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see you compete again.
Thank you.
So, hey, that was a great little chat with purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Maria Kipreos, and you should check out her class. It sounds like, you know, if you've ever been interested in trying a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class, she seems like she'd be a great instructor. You can find her at Connor's MMA in Norwood, Mass. And I think the street address is 180 Kerry Place in Norwood, Mass. So you should check her out. Check out her class. I think you might enjoy it if you've ever had an inkling to try Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or any form of mixed martial arts. So if you like what you heard today and are eager to hear more, remember to subscribe on iTunes. Or you can also find us on Podomatic. Or better yet, you can 10x your energy without destroying your body by signing up for my free 3-part video series, where you'll also get updates and you know, on upcoming guests and the latest Evolve WMMA episodes. And you also can find us now on YouTube. I just actually recently posted a whole bunch of them, a whole load of them, up the video version of the interview. So if you prefer to see us instead of listen to us, you can check us out on YouTube. I think it's at Women's MMA. I'll try and post that too in the show notes. And then the other thing too is, if you want to sign up to subscribe to the Evolve WMMA podcast, you can find us at my blog, which is evolvewmma.com. Or you can simply follow us at facebook.com/I love WMMA. This is Shelley Devine. Until next time, thanks for listening.